Lipstick is my magic, red one. And that's my strength and encouragement. Thank you. That is my strength. What is yours? What is yours? Looking in the mirror, to be honest, also is my strength and encouragement. Because that asks that moment with myself, where nobody else is between me and that inner message. Inner message. Message from the God. I need to switch off the vibration. And that is something what we who feel, who sense, who lives in this world, we hear these signs, synchronicities, and we see these signs, and we need to follow them. And years, my number one thing was just follow the heart, the signs, ... of the heart. And that's how I have been living my life. Not always I hear my body, but I always follow the signs. I always followed something what wants to come out. Not always I hear my body. And here I am with permission to live my life. And it's so interesting that I have thought that I have permission from myself all these years, and that have been pretty much big illusion. And I think living in illusion is even almost worse and worse than not being aware at all, because that illusion is leading you somewhere where it doesn't go anywhere. It's just like dead end, where you suddenly happen to be and you don't know how to do the reverse, and you also realizing that there is no farther path where to go. There is no choices which ones to take. It's just a simple illusion. And I'm giving myself permission today. I'm giving myself permission to be, to say, to think, to speak, to feel, and to fully own my own story, and to fully own my light of being alive, my light by default, by birth, that I'm here in this world, and that I don't need to dim myself, first of all, and we all know that in some way. And that light who is just naturally there since my entire existence, not only on this world, but generally. And I'm giving myself permission. And I will repeat that over and over again. And I will invite you to feel, think, like really, really, truly kind of whisper to yourself what is permission for yourself. Because I thought that I have permission to live. I thought that I have all the chances and choices, of course, under different circumstances. But I realized that last 2 years, I have been living in such a transition, in such mixed emotions, and I have lived in such a like transformative, confused, full of emotions time, that everything what happened with me and for me, I couldn't always own it. I realized that I'm changing. I realized that things are happening with me, for sure, for me. And that's the main thing, how I see the life, that everything happens for me. And I'm truly blessed that whatever kind of experience comes through my field, through my experiences through circumstances around me. It's for me. It is only beneficial for me. That's my default setup since I have been a small girl. But I also realized that I don't know how to hold space also for myself to not always be ashamed from these experiences. And today I'm saying to myself out loud, and I'm just saying out loud, just generally to that feminine force, that there is no shame needed in any of us in this world if we are living. You can even write it with the capital letters. If we are living and wanting to be alive, wanting to experience this life, there is no shame of any experience. And I would be able to tell that to somebody else in these years. I have been able to say that in many of my sessions. I have been able to say that through my artwork, but not always I have been able to own it myself. And you always can look why there are these different reasons why we can't do that. We just can't. And in some moment we can't. And sometimes we just need some help from outside. And sometimes we just need some friend. And sometimes we just need to record our own voice message and to send somebody or voice message to ourselves. Sometimes we need to write it down. Sometimes we need to cry it out. We sometimes need to shout. We need to be angry. We need to resent everything that have happened. Like that, these all things start to move within us. That we start to accept whatever kind of things have been happening with us, for us, through us, whatever. Like, and it took me more than 2 years that I would be able to accept my divorce, what I encouraged myself. It took me 2 years, more than 2 years. And with up and down, with the hills and valleys, with the hills and valleys, with the hills and valleys, where I would be in my strength, and in the same time I would be in my shame and guilt that I did it, that I split up from the loving marriage, that I split up my family, that I divorced my husband, and automatically I split up the constellation named family of my two daughters. And I have been living with this guilt and shame for more than 2 years. And I realized lately that full 2 years have been really, really difficult, where I couldn't speak the things what wants to come out of me because I feel guilty, because I'm afraid that not someone, but women will judge me. And they will. And they will. And you know that also, that women will judge the most. And the mothers will judge the most. The wives will judge the most. And just generally, that will happen. And I wasn't ready for that. And I wasn't ready for that. And am I ready today? I am ready today. And why I'm ready today? Because I realized that nobody ever have walked in my shoes. I have really nice shoes. And nobody have walked into them because they are mine. Because I only have experienced what I have experienced. Nobody else in this world. So therefore, nobody else can judge me. And when you really truly, and I have had 2.5 years almost when I could soak this up, I realized that the biggest judges have never even asked my opinion. The biggest judges from previous friends, also female friends, haven't asked me, how did you feel? Why did you do that? Why did you split up? Why did you leave your family? Uh, Nobody actually cares. But what they care is about that something, what they think you are going against something. You're going against the stream, you're going against the societal norms, the societal dogmas, the societal principles, how women should be, act, do, feel, not to say anything. And I realized that I was playing the game exactly. I have been very brave and doing really wonderful, interesting things and experiencing life and being like courageous and going there and adventures and changing houses and starting life from zero, like really dozens of times. But I wasn't able to speak about the marriage, the family, and the impact of being suppressed in my own being, where I have no breath and where you just still want to continue loving other, where you are allowing other to loving you through the choking way. And as I'm saying, my life was beautifully full with honey, but you can also drown in the honey pot. And that's what I did. I was drowning myself in a loving honey pot where I didn't know who I am. And I, some moments, even didn't know why that other person really would love me, because I couldn't see why I'm actually lovable, because I didn't have anything what I can bring, I thought, because I didn't have fresh air to breathe. I didn't even have, not even fresh, I just didn't have any air to breathe. And so, what I want to say with that, when you realize that you just can't do as you are told, as you are promised at the altar, that you can't do what is expected from you. Are you woman, or you are wife, or you are mother? You just, some moment you get to the realization that you just can't continue like that. And I get to that realization. And was it easy to get there? No, it was not easy to get there. But in some way, the thing is that our cups, our beautiful cups, I have here brewed tea for my art. Our cups at some moment will be full. And for each of us, it is completely different time. But it will be full at some moment, for whatever kind of fullness, about whatever kind of topic thing. And nobody will decide when that cup is full except us. So nobody can judge us why we did that, or why we didn't do that, why we went away from somebody, or why we didn't, why we still accepted whatever kind of abuse, or why we accepted this. Millions of different possibilities, and you know yours, and you know your divine timing, and you know also that there is, this is your timing, and not also always you will take it. And I know that I'm a person who can stretch my ability to be flexible for a very, very long time. I can deal, I can cope, I can negotiate with myself, I can really, really fully stretch myself to the end. Like that, I'm like, I literally said, like, I felt like why somebody even would like to love me. Even if I loved myself in terms of I liked myself, I was really, I thought, I'm nice, I'm fun. But I really felt like I just don't see myself anymore alive enough that somebody would like me, because I was feeling simply pretty dead within it, within myself, and it was the relationship. Even if I was loved, I was loving, but like I said, I was drowning myself into the honey pot. And also my husband did the same thing. We just couldn't communicate about that. Many reasons, but that's the story for another time. But what I realized in these last months, that the if I want to speak about anything what is important for me, or I'm going into the bottom, or I'm not speaking at all, because I'm realizing that last 2 years, the bits and bobs that I have shared, it's nothing. It's nothing. It's like I'm trying to invite somebody in a space, and I know that it's like I'm trying to whisper to the cup. I'm not whispering to the really container where I can hold the story, where I can hold that experience, my own experience. I realized that I wasn't able to hold my own experience because I was afraid to be judged from myself first. And that's the worst thing, because my up and down guilt, my up and down shame was bigger than the importance of my that step. And I realized now that I just need to do that step. I just need to go to the bottom and tell and share the story. Why we can do whatever we feel is right for us. And it's nothing to do with our house, it's nothing to do with our children, because everything else, everyone will still feel. If you don't feel good, it will reflect into your family. It will reflect into your relationship with your other half, with the world, society, of course, also, but also with your like closest group. What is like example your children. And I living my life, I saw that I just I just literally can't show up every day the way I was to my daughters. And I couldn't show up and do this like that inner resentment and inner anger, what was brewing slowly. I couldn't that I couldn't do that to my husband also. And I couldn't do that to myself first. I was hating every day. I was hating myself. I was hating my family. I every day in the evening I promised that tomorrow I will be better. That I tomorrow will love more my children. I promised myself that I will love and not be any more judgmental towards my other half. I promised myself that I will also take care of myself, that I will have boundaries around me, that I will have clarity in myself. And next morning came and everything was the same. I felt straight away, like first thing when I heard my daughters saying "Mama," I just didn't want to get out of the bed. Just didn't want to go out of the bed because everyone needed me, everyone wanted me, but I didn't have space. Not for them, not for myself. Like totally, totally like exhaustion. And only few months ago, I realized that I was burnt, not from the professional things, not from these outer things. I just was like burnt out in my own family. And that was like insane shock because even like for 2 years, I didn't know that that was in some way something what happened to me, with me, for me. I just saw that I just collapsed. I didn't have enough strength. I didn't have enough willingness. I didn't have enough patience. So I was in some way, I some moment saw that I am too weak and I just run away. That's how I actually describe sometimes things for myself. And when I heard everything about the burnout, and it was just a professional description about different burnouts, I was crying all day. And I was crying all day for myself, and I was crying all day for my husband because we both were burnt out fully. Like there was no any chance that we could make it because we were completely burnt out. And and then I started to feel, hearing that, I started to feel more acceptance towards myself and my choice. And also, just I felt compassion. I actually felt compassion towards my life. I felt compassion towards my husband's life, and I felt compassion and I felt relief. And then I started to feel that things actually started to shift in these last 5 months, I would say, because I didn't have that inner fight, what was trying to justify my decision. And I still try to justify time by time my decision. But I see how that justification is like tiny fraction of the whisper in my ear. And very quickly I really, really I just can surrender with myself and I can say like, do you want everything as it was back? With that feeling, with that knowledge, with that awareness what you had. Do you want that all back? No, I don't. And when I say I don't, I really mean that because I know that with that all awareness, I couldn't do better, even slightly. I could do only worse. And when I say that to myself, my nervous system actually in that moment calms down. And then I can really literally, in some way, take myself into my arms and I can really forgive and let go that alarm and that trying to justify my decision. And for me, it is important to bring this message out because I'm enough aware. I'm working with the people, I'm working with the frequencies, I'm working with the transformations, I'm working with the women, and I still know that I'm still carrying part of the collective um, responses in myself, what doesn't allow me to move farther in me. And when I started to realize that I want to bring the really meaningful project out in the world, what is about the heartbreak, whatever it means for you, heartbreak, losing something, because it's heartbreak is about losing something what you know, what is familiar, what have been comfortable, what have been soothing, what have been loving. You are losing something. So whatever it means, actually, physical loss, as a half, attachment, friend, a family member, whatever it is, forever or friendship or anything, there is a heartbreak. And I thought that I will be able to help myself, like a split second. I just get divorced. My life will be wonderful. I will have this. Everything will be shiny and rosy and amazing. And when that now for 2 years, last 2 years, recently I really have been relaxed, but like 2 years after divorce, when I nothing of that happened, I thought like, how can it be that I don't know the password? What everyone else knows the password, why everyone else is kind of like perking up, living their life, and I'm not able to do that. And first of all, because I wanted to prove that I will perk up, like I will jump up from that fall, from that shuttering. And I was putting so much expectation to myself that I forgot that I just only need to be and accept these all like pieces, the shadow and the light, the love and the anger, and all these like opposite forces in some way. And I wasn't able to hold the space for myself, and everything else in my life was taken away. There was taken away earning, there was taken away like people, there was taken away the willingness, the friendships, like everything was stripped away fully for me to look into the things, what they actually mean for me, what means heart expansion. Because I always thought like, no, I'm like really, really happy person. Like everything is fine with me, for me, around me. I love everyone anyway. Like I really, really didn't. I never knew in some way what properly heartbreak means. So I realized that yes, this is something. Uh, it's not like I want to go in. The life just forced me to go in, because there was 2 years passing and nothing changed in my life. I felt in some way there was like moderate happiness in some way. I would say I was living still life, I was creating art, but there was something what was all the time like, there was that inner fight within me. And now I know I just needed all the time this all path to get to the moment where I'm not fighting against that shadow part and also light part in me, but that I needed to meet the force, what is in some way called that indefinite. And indefinite love, but also that, I forgot the name now suddenly, not in yes, indefinite love. And that love, what is like, there's no why you love it. Like there is no why. Like there is no why, because I was asking all the time why. I was asking why it happened, why it needed to happen, why we couldn't be better, why we couldn't try better, why I couldn't try better. And I get to the point recently, like these last 5 6 months, that I stopped asking this why. I was so exhausted and so tired of my why. I could cry every day of that why. And before in my life, I really didn't cry. I cried maybe once a year, and sometimes at some movie or just some touching moment, but not because of myself. Like I didn't even cry at all. I cried once a year when I felt pity about myself. And now I cried 2 years every day. And I still do that. Not maybe every day, but I still do that. And sometimes there are grateful tears, and sometimes there are desperate tears. And I allowed that to be. And now I'm not asking why. And when I stopped asking why, I can feel how things are really beautifully holding me. And because I start to feel held by myself, I start to feel accepted by myself, I realized what a power it is. And that's where this this new project project about the holding the space and the heart space and the broken heart space is coming in. And I feel it's so essential because, like I said, I was enough aware I was helping other people, but I couldn't help myself. I literally couldn't help myself. I couldn't hold myself. And I know how blind it can take us. I know how blindly we can go into something where we just can't see the light out of that. That everything seems so big, so dark, so deep, so like unwilling to change, unwilling to like kind of like that we will get out of that swamp. I I know it, and time by time I still get into that. I still get into that, but I know the ways how I can really quickly drag myself out of that. I know the ways now how to sit with that, invite it, and not at all like see that it's desperation and it's like end of the world. Because for me, like these things happen end of the world, and I don't want to be at the end of the world. I just want to be now. I just want to be now, and also accept. I just feel bad now. It's okay. It's okay. I don't want to ask these questions why, because there is no point. There is no point. And I want you to know that there is no point. It's because it's just because it's needed, because it's blessing, because it's for you. And I know that. And I know that also it's for other half. I know that it's also for my children. I know that it's for my daughters. I know that this, what I did, the leading behind my family, is it's not for fun. I didn't do that because I had fun. I had the biggest choice ever what I needed to do, go away from people what I love the most. But I realized that I can give another choice, another chance to my husband. Somebody asked me, "Do you want to give another chance to your husband?" And I said, "No, I want to give the first chance to myself finally." And I felt it so powerful because I realized that I never ever had given chance to myself. And I was ready to do that, whatever it costs. And it cost a lot. And it costs a lot. And if people don't want to ask, if they don't want to face that, if they don't want to look in my eyes, come and ask, why did you do that? But from the curiosity ground, not from the judgment ground, because from the judgment ground, we all can judge each other. I can judge myself the best. I don't need anyone else judging myself. I have enough conscience to judge myself. So I'm not asking you to judge me. I have done it enough. But just to say, I'm giving chance first time in my life to myself because I love them so much that I don't want to do bad to them, neither myself. And this is why I want to speak about the things what I wasn't able to speak for 2 years. I was ashamed. I was guilty. I felt guilty. I felt that like I can't justify that myself. How can I ask that somebody else justifies or emphasizes with my story? And I know that it's not true. I know that it's not true. I know that living in the golden cage is worse than not living at all. And I choose for absolutely unknown thing. I choose to go the path, but I don't know where it's going to lead me. But I choose to take it anyway. And why? Because I have two daughters. And I want to do them the same. I want to know and remember for them that their mother went the path really unwalked, really full with stones and pebbles and and judgment, but because she chose herself, not what is supposed to be for women. And I have been born in a very patriarchal society. I come from the country where that patriarchy is still so big and it have been so triggering me all my life. And and I want to say, no, I want to be that woman who is not giving example to my daughters because I just feel afraid. I feel still afraid. I feel still afraid. I feel still afraid of unknown. I feel still afraid of judgment. I always have been wanting to be the good girl. I had good grades. I had everything good. And I'm done with that. I'm not going to do that anymore. That's it. I'm going to do what feels good for me. And I want my daughters, if they will regret anything else, if they will regret that I'm not present in their lives, that they will know that I chose something what can be ignored. And that's for me more important. And if yes, if they will have resentment towards their mother because she wasn't present in the way how it's traditionally present, that when people get divorced, mostly children live with mothers, and it's not my case. They live with their father, and I'm really truly grateful because it's a beautiful, beautiful bond. And rather to give up fatherhood, I would give up motherhood for them, for their experience, because the man will be something what they will connect their life the most. And I want their father to be present in their lives. And they chose their past. They chose to live with the father for different circumstances. But that's another story. So I let go. I let go that bird, what I caged myself. And I gave myself the first chance, not the second one, not the third, not. I gave myself first chance. And everyone else. That's it. And I feel free. And I feel liberated. And I feel different emotions. I feel ups and downs, but I'm not scared to live. And I'm not scared to live my life. My life. Whatever it means. I have no idea fully. And it doesn't matter. The thing what matters that I would not live my life. That scares me most. So that's why I put my red lipstick on. I love it. In one session, it came as a reminder that that's my power. And I didn't believe that. I never put red lipstick before except playing with my girls. And this is something what my girls told me. Put the lipstick on, red lipstick. They always get it for their birthday from my mom. She always sent them red lipstick. And I never put it on. And my daughters encourage me to do that. So if they can encourage me, I can encourage somebody else with a red lipstick. You don't need to put red lipstick on, but that's for me the sign of encouragement that I can do that. I can live my life with or without red lipstick. It doesn't matter. But that's the reminder that my daughters is something after me, and they will learn something from me. But I can learn something from them, and I can inspire myself to be myself for them. So you have children or you don't have children. Maybe you have daughters or maybe you have only like boys. It actually doesn't matter. But we all are in the sisterhood. And we can have this imaginative sisterhood. What do we leave behind ourselves? Do we leave the fear? Or do we leave just that light footprint? That doesn't mean that life is always easy, but we leave the light footprint because we want to dance in our shoes with our life. And we want to sing the song, what makes us happy first. And when we are happy, and I know that it's banal, and I love banal things. I literally love banal things because they are really true. Everything what is banal is true. I've fully lived where I felt unhappy, where I felt unheard by myself first, and I know that I couldn't offer anything to my family because of that. I can offer only frustration. I can offer physical love. I can offer pampering, physical attention in some way. I couldn't offer my being. Couldn't offer my being. I couldn't offer true me. And I'm done with that. And I'm inviting you to offer true yourself to yourself. And everyone else will shine and glow because you are doing that. It's easier said than done. I know that. It took me 2 years to say it out to myself loud. And here I am. Everything is possible. For red lipsticks, for our encouragement. Yes.